timidity, you can expect any president even to change the conversation that quickly. I don't think that's really the problem. I think you can define the issue to be dealt with in ways that allow you to do things like high-quality preschool and intensive early literacy, where people would accept that that's very sensible, intuitively so. I think there's a good argument to be made there. I think that if you look at what he had to do, the stimulus package, the bailout of AIG, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, these are $100 billion deals, right? People are not happy about those things because the problems that they had brought on by the same financial transactions have not been addressed directly by the federal government in the same way, right? And as people in your neighborhood lose their homes to foreclosure, it has a terrible impact on you, even if you're able to stay in your home. The value of your house goes down. You might have a home equity loan. You might have a mortgage. It now might be below what you're...
But Gordon, aren't you excusing him? Because you just made the argument that everything he is putting forward you think is ineffective.
In education?
In education. So why even bother to put it forward? I mean, you could put it off for all the arguments you're giving. Okay, economically we can't spend the money on preschool. So why does Arnie Duncan go around talking up all these policies which you've just argued on the basis of 30 years of social science evidence won't work?
I think it's, you know, I have an answer there, I think.
Well, good. I'm curious.
I think this remains a secondary issue. I don't think this is a vote getter. I don't think this is a vote breaker. I think it's an opportunity for Obama to do something that is consistent with what he's tried with other problems, unsuccessfully, which is to change the game in Washington so that it is the interpartisanship disappears, and of course we know that the exact opposite has happened. And with people focused so powerfully on the economy as the test, and now probably to some extent on health care. And who knows what happens between now and November in Afghanistan, in Iraq, or of course if there were another terrorist attack. I mean, those would all change, that would change the game on the conversation. This is the one opportunity, I think, that where the White House has decided politically, this is the one opportunity to make a brazen appeal to conservatives. They want teacher unions weakened. They oppose teacher unions just as a matter of campaign politics every year, year in and year out. They're sick and tired of having Democrats supported by teacher unions. They're among the 2 or 3 unions most effective in behalf of candidates. And they want to see fairly radical changes in public education. And they're happy to have something which frankly would stir the ferment among natural allies who have been the primary supporters of public education. And this is the best opportunity for that. I don't know what other ones he has. He's tried, hasn't he? Tried with health care, tried with financial reform. He's tried to maintain this notion of extending a hand to the Republicans, and they've not been willing to shake it. And this is the one chance he's got. And they seem to want to keep pushing it. And they now are starting with some, in both the House and the Senate, joint meetings with the ranking Republicans and the Democratic chair. I'll mention something that he's already had one major triumph that has received very little attention. And it came about through the reconciliation process that was pursued to get health care, which is he took a program which has been, frankly, a subsidy of enormous magnitude for banks called the student loan program. And if you have a Stafford loan, and for 40 years, banks have been given, those loans are all federally guaranteed. There's no risk to the bank. So the federal government has been paying banks for 40 years to write these loans, as well as giving them extra money to service the loans, as giving them extra money to collect the loans if people fall behind in their payment. They have 4 or 5 opportunities at very generous fees, which are not cost-based, which are not competitively bid, which they receive, amounts to $9 billion a year, probably more, in these direct subsidies to banks. And Obama, in a very short time, just got rid of those subsidies. And the money is going to be used for a combination of increasing Pell Grants, assisting community colleges modestly, historically black colleges modestly, and with the balance going to deficit reduction. Didn't get a lot of attention. People have thought about trying to change that for a long time, and nobody's been able to do it, and he did it. And they did it with, frankly, with Nancy Pelosi and George Miller from California, who put this baby together, and he and George Miller introduced it on July 15th. All the Republicans voted against it. They passed it in the House 2 months later. They went over to the Senate side, and they made it a part of the reconciliation. It's a major change. Still, there's more to be done on student loans in terms of reforms. But that's one where they did it again without any notice or appeal to bipartisanship or anything else. Didn't get one Republican vote for it. Actually, in the House, they did get 5. I apologize. 4 Democrats voted against it. I think that this is, and I don't know how well it will hold up, but I think this is an effort to replicate what Bush was able to do, and to to try and get bipartisanship by by creating a second common enemy, which are the teacher unions. And I think they're going to be. I think it's a bad fight to be taken on. I would think it was a good fight if they won the fight, it would work. But if they win this fight, it's not going to work. They don't know how to do this. This has not been done. And so I remain strongly opposed to the idea that this is the right political fight. Yes?
So if the third part of that package was that they couldn't have a law against teacher pay, would that mean they're going to try to do some kind of information on teacher pay protecting students?
You mean if they took away the focus on teacher pay? Or if they...
Since they're doing that, like I'm assuming correctly, third point that you have.
Oh, the third requirement for applying for these competitive funds, you mean?
Does that mean that they're going to try to make some reforms around teacher pay?
Yes, they're going to try and get states to, and some states have already done this. So, I mean, it's working to that extent. 2 or 3 states that did have laws that said, which forbid connecting individual student results to individual teachers, have rescinded those laws. And they had some other victories by encouraging, for example, replacing any ceiling on the number of charter schools